Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And got a good one for you today. Needed to come down to the crashing waves for this because the likelihood of a crash is growing in the economy. And we're seeing all these different signs around us that are serious, serious problems. Before I get into it, please take a second. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And I want to thank a couple people, first of all. I want to thank Hazel, who sent just some amazing gifts, very thoughtful, and I really appreciate that. And I got to do Mr. Adams' podcast last night. What a great guy. I look forward to doing that again. We could have talked for another 2 hours last night, and it was absolutely amazing. But we need to congratulate ourselves, guys. We did it. Great news. You know, as a country, our national debt has grown to $31 trillion, and it's awesome. Now, what does this calculate out to? It calculates out to $94,000 per American. That's awesome, okay? And for each taxpayer, $245,000. So can you guys write us a check, just to contribute towards that, and your fair share? Okay, I'll wait for that though. Okay. Mention swiping your credit card. $245 trillion. Anyways, what's funny is we are seeing all these signs of crash. And one great thing that somebody sent me was a derivative website that shows how much these banks have in derivatives. We've talked so much lately about the banks and the banking problem. But if you don't think that there is a problem brewing on the horizon with these banks, you're kidding yourself. Because I'm going to show you guys something that I was stunned at this number and had to push it into Google to say, how do you say this number? Because it was $57 trillion. I mean, it was just trillions of dollars from JP Morgan. JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citibank all have these derivatives that are in just astronomical numbers right now. Now, here's the thing that floored me is that number 2 was Goldman Sachs. One thing that we talked about a few months ago, just at the beginning of summer, was some banks are in trouble, and the banking community inside the banking community didn't want to admit that one of the big four had a problem. But then you find out, the big four, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Chase, and B of A, you find out that Goldman Sachs is in there too, leveraged to the moon and a half. I mean, it is insane, guys. So if you think that this is a safety area to be in, you're kidding yourself. When I'm telling you, there is something peaceful about being out here. There really is. I love it, and you just can't get enough of it right now. You know that? Had a lot of meetings today, a lot of phone calls, a lot of stuff going on, and people are sending me things. Whenever I do a video that gets people talking, I love that. But think about this. Barry from USAA Bank, he's a customer, put a lot of money in for a deposit and didn't want to ask some of the personal questions that they asked him. Like what do you do for a job and things like that. He felt it was none of their business, but they were happy to take his money initially. Then Barry started to purchase things like firearms, okay? And froze his account. And it created a real problem because you need to answer these questions on what you do for a living and where your money comes from and sources and things like that, or we're going to close the account. So Barry said, fine, close the account, which was a nightmare, okay? So, again, we've talked about this where banks are closing accounts because they don't like certain industries and things like that. But guys, this is the beginning of this. This is the beginning of I don't like butchers, meat is evil, I mean, it could get really, really crazy out here. So, you think I'm kidding? Okay? I'm not. He's painting live. So, get ready, guys. Get ready. Over the last 2 days, we saw silver go up 10% in price. I went to my silver suppliers, the local direct silver suppliers, and went to look to purchase. Nothing at any of them. Dan, we're sold out. Dan, we've got nothing but problems. Dan, the inventory's gone. Get yourself into physical silver right now. That is something that is very inexpensive. But here's the thing about silver that is too cheap right now. Silver is a steal right now. Silver is absolutely too cheap. And it's also, guys, think about this. The industrial uses for silver alone, don't even look at the investment opportunity for it. This is a metal that is used in so many different things, from medical, technology, electronics, electric cars, everything, that there is not enough of a supply to keep up with the demand that we have. So eventually the price is going to go up. Now, from an investment side, it went up 10% over the course of the last 2 days. Okay, that's incredible right there. But you've got people that just don't have it right now. So that's, just a really interesting thing to run into, because people are starting to get into this. And the one thing that's crazy is, whenever I mention Robert Kiyosaki, it is either he's great or he's an idiot. He's not a real financial advisor. I'm not a financial advisor guy. I'm a marketing guy. That's what I do for a living. But Robert steps forward again and says that silver is going to shoot up in value, and that he sees silver in early 2023 going as high as $5 an ounce. Now, if we have $500 an ounce silver, what does this world look like? Seriously, what does it look like, guys? Is it going to be safe? Is it going to be good? I mean, you can jaywalk in January, which, again, I've had a lot of people write me about this. This is lawlessness. That starts here. Lawlessness is going to be in Illinois right now, where there's no bail right now for serious crimes, kidnapping, there's stalking, okay? I mean, there's no bail for any of this stuff, guys. So in a world like this, what does silver look like if it's $500 an ounce? Now, do I believe you should have as much as possible? Absolutely. But again, deal with a reputable dealer. Try to pay no more than $5 an ounce over spot, which is difficult. And you're starting to see things pop up $10, $20 and things like that online. And I'm a big guy in believing in delivery and the delivery date. That's what the important thing is. So, be ready, guys. Bangladesh had the world's largest blackout today. Did you guys hear about that? Oh, okay. 140 million people were put into darkness with no, and here's the thing, look at the story below, okay, that's attached to this. There was no scheduled blackout. I'm like, whoa, what did you say? You can't, what do you mean you had no scheduled blackout? You mean the fact that this entire country was put into darkness, in Dhaka, okay, which is the only country I'd heard of over there, but you've got the entire country that's in darkness right now. And what are you going to do? What's it like? What's it like if you lived in darkness? What would your world be like if your power went out? Do you have any medical devices that you work on, or anything in your house that you work on? What if you couldn't use your cell phone? Seriously, for days, 5 days, 8 days, what would you do? Have a plan for that, people. And have a plan for big waves too that come in and crash in. So, take this stuff seriously, guys, because whether you believe Mr. Kiyosaki or not, that's completely on you. I like Robert. I think he's great. But he's got a real problem with certain things. Now, Nouriel Roubani, he's a guy that can't stand cryptos. And he's what they call Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom's a good guy because he's called certain crashes in the past, but he hates cryptocurrencies. And he hates the fact that people are pushing these cryptos, and he thinks the Kim Kardashian problem is just the tip of the iceberg. And that these, celebrities and companies that have pushed cryptos, and that they're going to have major problems coming in the future, and that we haven't seen anything yet. Now, that may be. It's going to be interesting. But again, what are cryptos tied to? We may finally see metals shoot up in price because of inflation. We may finally see that be the hedge against inflation that we've all talked about, that I've talked about forever and a day. So will that happen? We don't know. Okay? It looks like it, though. Guys like Robert Kiyosaki think so. But what do you guys think about crypto? Which cryptos do you think are good investments? And again, what's it tied to? The crash of everything? The Treasury Department says it's junk. Treasury Department says you should stay away from it. And you saw that on yesterday's video. Today, you got Nouriel Rabbani talking about that and saying that it's junk and trash and that Kim Kardashian should have had a much stiffer fine than what she got. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. There's so much more to cover right now. And just a beautiful day. Wanted to walk down here and, see the water, take a look. But just a peaceful time out here. Now, I love predictions that people make that are in the public eye. And the first one is they had an economic forum with the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and all the central banks from around the world, including the US, where they made predictions, and the report was finally released on Monday. As I run away from the wave. Was finally released on Monday. And they're predicting, now think about this, it's twofold. Sure, the poorest nations are going to have problems, and we've lent them too much money, and they're going to have, real problems because of green energy and that they haven't adapted. That's what they said, the articles below. But you're going to see the richest nations that are going to pull us down to an economic downturn. That's what they're predicting. Rebecca Greenspan, she's the director of this event, talking about how this is going to be a problem, and you're going to see the world's largest nations be the people that are going to have the biggest problems, and they're going to affect the world's economy. Now, Ed Yardeni runs Yardeni Research. He made a great prediction, saying that the Fed is going to raise interest rates one more time in November, and that's it. And that they're going to start to cut back the interest rate rises right after that. And it's going to be interesting to see if that happens. Now, with the stock market shooting up over the last couple of days, interest rates for mortgages dropped. Time to get in, guys. Time to buy houses. Or is it? They dropped to 6.63%. And again, I think you guys are crazy if you guys are out doing this right now and buying a house. That's just me. There's so many problems in so many different markets. Great article below about how people need to look at what it costs to buy a home and the ongoing expenses. It's not just the purchase price of the house. It's the maintenance. It's the taxes. It's the insurance. It's the water bill. It's the electric bill. It's everything. And there are people that can afford to buy houses right now that will not be affected by any economic downturn. That is a fact. But people need to sit there and put pen to paper and determine if this is the right thing to do or not. Because you're still seeing crazy things happen. You're still seeing people, make offers over ask. You're still seeing, multiple offers on some properties, some. But then you've got another article talking about how bad everything is right now and how you've got all these interactive charts, which are great. You can see the difference of how bad the market is from place to place to place. And with that, we've got, Boise, Vegas, Phoenix, all these markets that have nothing but problems right now. But take a look at these interactive markets because they're just getting started. And the interactive charts on these markets. I love stuff like this, guys. I love hearing this stuff. When you talk to agents that say, hey, it's never been a better time. Your painting's really coming along since we walked back. It's beautiful. Looks great. I could never paint. I took art in high school only because I got to sit next to Darcy, who was very, very pretty. Okay? And I couldn't draw to save my life. So there's that. Anyways, share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. I think that this is the beginning of a major crash. And you're seeing the Fed buy all the T-bonds and everything shoot up. That's really beautiful out here, man. It's just nice. But let's get out of the shade of the sign there. what is the thing that's going to drive you guys crazy? I want the comments below. I want to know, if this happens, Dan, I'm going to get really concerned, because gas here in Orange County is well above $7 a gallon right now at a lot of spots. And it's not just the resorts, it's all over the place. And it's crazy to think about this. There's places in LA where gas is $8. That is nuts, guys. $8 a gallon. And, you know, the current administration doesn't think that's an issue for them. I don't know what does, guys, because everything's affected. Every single person is affected by gas prices, from delivery of food, from your mail, packages, to absolutely everything. So let me know what you guys are thinking about this. Share your thoughts on all this stuff. There's a lot more to cover. Just a beautiful day out here. Oh, nobody's at the lawn bowling. It's depressing. I usually come out here just to meet women. And there's nobody here, so I'll come back some other time. Ray Dalio, who runs Bridgewater, the world's largest hedge fund, he steps forward yesterday and says, cash is not trash. And he sees a lot of people turning their assets into cash right now, and he's all for it. And he thinks that people need to be prepared right now, because with the increasing interest rates, you need to be in a cash position right now. Kaboom. Imagine that guy saying that. So great article below on this. And, another great article on real estate. Think about this. Manhattan apartments dropped, sales-wise, 18% in August. We just got the sales figures. Now, you can sit there and say, wow, that's crazy. But think about this. The prices went up 4% to $1.96 million. And Miller Samuel and Douglas Elliman, two heavyweights in the industry, did this report, and the report is included below, which is really cool. But man, it's crazy. The price per square foot still is up, and people are still buying these, high-priced properties right now. So crazy right now. There's that. So the other thing that's a real problem right now is jobs and jobs listing. Every time I talk to an employer, it's how difficult is it to get quality workers that want to work. So that's a major issue. And here's the thing. Right now in August, that's the latest numbers that we have, the number of employments, job opportunities out there went down 10% right now. So the article is misleading, but it's included below, and it says the Fed may have to curtail its plan of interest rate increases because there's less jobs available. Guys, there's going to be a lot less jobs available, and the Fed's helping to create this. So the problem that you have right now with this is, I don't believe the low unemployment. Never believed it. And I think that there are a lot of people that are just not counted on the unemployment, dole right now, So that, the story is great, but a couple other stories you have to look at is that automation right now in work is changing the way the work, the companies are set up. Mike Lott talked last night in his podcast about, having, automation in his company and how it's changed things. That's happening all over the place right now. And the thing that's crazy about this with the automation is that it eliminates a job forever once you get a robot involved, a robotic apparatus of any type. They're not going to sit there and go, you know what, I like dealing with people showing up late. Let's get rid of that machine. That's never going to happen. So people are looking at this right now and need to understand that the world is changing. And the other thing that's crazy about this is that, are you a remote worker? Okay? Because there's a great article that talked about how the majority of the remote workers could be gone in 10 years. You could have other people taking over for you over your remote job. So I'm always one of these people. Show up, be there, you'd be better off. All these articles I've read lately that people send me about how miserable people are with dealing with the office politics and people that they have to talk to that they don't get along with, things like that. And again, I understand all that stuff, But there's this thing called a business that you have to work for, and the business needs to make money and make a profit to pay you, because when businesses don't, they go out of business and there is no more company. You're going to see a tremendous amount of problems in the next 90 days. That's my prediction. But then in 2023, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. You know, with these, like the bank derivatives that we talked about earlier, that's a huge problem. When does that catch up? When do the musical chairs catch up with these people? When do the fact that these people are doing adjustable rate mortgages again, they're doing all these derivatives again that they did reminiscent of 2008, it's going to have a problem. It's going to have a problem again, and it's going to be very, very interesting to say the least. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. Let me know what you're thinking about this. But I think this is just the beginning of all these problems right now. I've done a lot of stories on people living paycheck to paycheck and the problems that they're having getting by right now. The biggest segment that's growing the fastest is people that make over $100,000 a year. These people are not getting by right now. In fact, it went up from last year where only 38% of the people to right now it's 50% of the people are saying that they do not make enough money to get by and make ends meet right now. Now, this is fascinating, which leads to another part of the story, and that is Bank of America. Bank of America employees right now, 71% of the employees that work for Bank of America said they do not make enough money to make ends meet. I love it when the tide comes in like this with these steps. I have filmed out here a bunch of times, and when the tide comes in like this is absolutely amazing. Just a beautiful spot. Normally you can walk around out here when the tide's out, and it's beautiful, but you can't now. So 71% of Bank of America's employees say that they are living paycheck to paycheck. That's a glowing endorsement for the bank and why you'd want to work there. So the other thing is that they surveyed a lot of people that offer financial services, which Bank of America does. And Bank of America said that when they did the survey, and they said if your employer offered financial services and a way for you to save, an IRA, 401k, direct savings account, how do you feel about your finances? 91% of those people said that they felt better about their finances because they were forced to save. That's impressive. So here's the thing. Bank of America wages went up 0.8% last year. And they're down right now 2.8%, which people are still losing money. Now, when you add up the ridiculous inflation number, and remember, it's 8.9, 8.7, whatever the lie is right now, which is 16, 18%, whatever it is right now, at 2.8%, even if they got that raise, it's not enough money, and we're going to lose stairs here. This is really cool. You actually lose the stairs, and it'll come up fairly high. You can see where the water line is on the cliff here. Very cool. Very cool, but worth walking down here. And again, when the tide shifts, just a beautiful spot. So the other thing is that Amazon, at all its warehouses, all of them, has put a hiring freeze. I just thought that Amazon was going to hire 140,000 people. Now they're not going to hire anybody. So this is absolutely mind-numbing news. 1 week they're hiring 140,000 people. 1 week they have a hiring freeze. Craziness right now. I'm going to end this video with these last couple stories. And first things first, I told you guys, I told you so from day one, that Elon Musk was going to buy Twitter. And he agreed to the $54.20 a share. La, 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 la. They're going to buy Twitter. And he's now making the X app, and Twitter is going to be part of the X app, which will be a blockchain app with Twitter included. La, 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 la. But again, this pointless fight, this drug out debacle that they just went to put themselves through, you know, couple great articles below on what the platform would look like with him in charge and how everybody else needs to dust off their resume, which is fantastic. So now the next thing, I had a great site sent to me that shows the worldwide predicted snowfall for the year, and great story below. You should take a look at that. I believe in talking to the farmers. I believe in people like Patera from Appalachia's Homestead. If you don't follow her channel, you should, because she runs a working farm, makes YouTube channels, and she's amazing. But the thing about Patera is that they're knee deep in it right now, preparing, because they know that there's going to be, a heavy winter. But all farmers have written me talking about the animals and their personalities, especially the squirrels that are packing things. And whenever they do this, there's going to be a heavy snowfall. Fascinating, okay? I always like to see if stuff like that works out. The final thing is there's a great study that if you do 2,000 steps a day, it prolongs your life. And everybody should do this. And from a guy that walks over 20 a day when I film these videos, 20,000 steps. But you've got to sit there and get your fitness going. You know, I'm changing my diet, a lot of things I'm doing right now, but you've got to do this and also reward yourself after the 2,000 steps. Great article. I reward myself with a cigarette after that. So, I'm kidding, guys. I don't smoke. Please do not forget to hit the like button. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Share this with everybody. And don't forget, we have an email list that you can sign up for. The link is below. Plus, we have Patreon, which we have more exclusive content on Patreon. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon. And again, one last thing. I'm going to leave the address down. Like Hazel sent me some stuff. People have been asking for that lately. The address will be left in the video description below as well. Okay? I will see you guys very soon.